The game has changed. We changed it, and we are here to play the new one, is one of Cardano's founders' quotes. Charles Hoskinson desires to live in a place where he believes tomorrow would be better than yesterday. The founder's great plans for the Cardano ecosystem are quite impressive, but the achievement won't be done without surmounting some clogs. And one of these clogs is the outrageous number of negative perceptions that are percolating into the ecosystem. In an interview with Messari founder Ryan Selkis, Charles Hoskinson attested that Cardano has built a community and an ecosystem primed for mass adoption. He also reiterated the essence of taking an academic and scientific approach to the development of the Cardano blockchain. According to the Cardano founder, the slow and steady approach used by the network is something that commodity clamors for, especially during seasons like crypto winters. Every step of the way with Cardano, we basically said that we are going to start from something that makes sense. We are going to write papers. We are going to validate those papers in the academic community. There are now over 150 of them that have written as an ecosystem by top professors, he said. Hoskinson relished the lab Cardano has at Stanford and CMU, the number of supporters in Europe at Edinburgh, and Japan at Tokyo Institute of Tech. Through an evidence-based way, Cardano is going to roll them out. And so, it's built this great community that basically says, look, these guys will eventually get there. They're eventually going to figure it out. And whenever they get to, it's probably going to be something that works and is at global scale, he added. As pointed out by Charles Hoskinson, there seems to be an enormous appetite in the industry, especially during the bear market. He affirmed that one does not capture anything during the bull markets, but when there is a bear market, everybody collapses. All the bridges get hacked and DeFi Ponzi schemes fall apart. For Hoskinson and his team, this is the kind of community and ecosystem he has built, and they are currently enjoying the dividends of that approach. The IOG CEO also highlighted that the blockchain's approach to development could set the pace for the inflow of billions of users into the crypto industry. He said, Fortune 500 companies, governments, real actors that are in charge of millions of billions of people care about standards. They care about safety. They care about reliability. They care about consistency. They care about interoperability. They care about good governance. You get one of these clients on board and you'll have 3 billion users. Hoskinson added that 98% of the people in the world do not use cryptocurrency for anything other than speculation. This interview attracted a slew of positive comments from the community. This is quite expected given that Charles Hoskinson is always speaking facts in each of his interviews. Any credit that is given to Charles Hoskinson is also a boost to Cardano. A Twitter user identified as Pilkey posted a comment about the interview, applauding Charles Hoskinson. You did a great job in this interview. I think the interviewer was initially negative in his approach to the interview. Your optimism and focus on the facts were perfect approaches. You could have been defensive, but instead you remained calm, articulate, and educated the audience. This is proof that Cardano's Hoskinson outdid himself in the interview. But isn't this how the trend goes? You do something spectacular and people show up praises to you. But when it's the opposite, they won't hesitate to shoot lasers at you, making demeaning accusations. Over time, Cardano ADA has been the target of a bunch of negative sentiments, which always end up magnifying its weaknesses. Hoskinson has always managed to keep his cool, but on some occasions it's difficult to do so. However, to record any meaningful progress, there is a need to combat this negative aura. It's normal to have anti-fans, but the extremity of this might hinder a great deal of progress. Almost everyone wants to justify their wrong stances about Cardano, and this will not help the cryptocurrency to thrive in the industry. 9 months ago, in a YouTube video, Charles Hoskinson addressed the rapid growth of the Cardano ecosystem while sorting out some of the concerns raised by members of the crypto community. While speaking about the government's perception of cryptocurrencies, he pointed out that majority of financial crimes were done with the US dollar or other fiat currencies. He also emphasized the need to change Silicon Valley's strange mantra of move fast and break things in crypto, which results in the loss of $10.5 billion in the DeFi space in 2021 alone. Hammering the potential in Cardano's slow and methodical approach, he said, that's why VCs don't even actually understand that Cardano has a community. They just think it's me behind a microphone. The Cardano founder envisaged faster completion of the Cardano roadmap in the long term. He called out YouTubers, podcasters, and VCs that have raised an eyebrow about Cardano's growth by testifying that we are number one for GitHub comments. If you're such an expert that you're going to opine on the quality of our comments, then tell us which ones are wrong, which ones don't mean anything, and what parts of the roadmap we are failing at dramatically, he said. According to him, a long-term vision is all that matters. because it's very difficult to engage in this kind of engineering and do it right without the foresight of the future. The undeniable truth is that many projects in the crypto space will not stand the test of time. There will likely be a great extinction in the next 5 to 10 years. However, a vast number of users and investors are not convinced about this. The general thought is that Cardano is making up for its slack progress with its regular emphasis on a long-term site. Also, Cardano is surrounded by preposterous exaggerations about simple flaws and mistakes. It is just like everyone is looking for the perfect opportunity to sweep Cardano ADA under the carpet. When there was a failed test of the Cardano's Vassal hard fork in August, it was astonishing how the community unwittingly handled the news. For Hoskinson, it was incredibly corrosive and damaging. A key member of the Cardano community sounded the alarm about a catastrophic failure of the testnet, and this development was passed on major headlines. According to Hoskinson, this was going to stick in consumers' minds, and it'd take a lot of marketing and discussions to get it to unstick. Back then, attracting a great deal of awareness to Vassal's condition, rather than opting for internal community channels for debate and deliberations, endangered the efforts of everyone with preconceived interests in the success of Cardano. Nothing meaningful will be accomplished, no real technology will be developed, no real conclusions will be drawn, and you will just incite a flash mob, wild speculation and opinions, and ultimately sensational comments which will be used to harm the integrity of the project, Hoskinson had said. Damaging headlines flooded most reports, which almost threatened Cardano's future and its strategic position among the top 10 cryptocurrencies by market capitalization. Fewer people will migrate to the project, less commercial interest, and ultimately less adoption for Cardano. Those are the real-life consequences of using Reddit, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube shows, and other channels to discuss issues that frankly should be discussed with the process, he added. In the same way the Cardano founder opposed an anonymous Twitter user who claimed that Cardano will never deliver what it promised, Charles Hoskinson was quite fascinated by the fact that people who tweeted about such sentiments were ignorant of what Cardano is building. Yes, there were some Cardano-related projects which ended up being different from what had been promised to users. The most notable example was SundaeSwap, which had a plethora of issues at the start and even some congestion cases. Charles Hoskinson could not find any reasoning for the claims shown in the tweet. He stated that every year the Cardano developers are moving mountains together and representatives of other networks could not see it. Although, despite some successes in development, the market performance of Cardano is a far cry from what had been envisioned by investors. However, the founder and his dedicated team of developers will not sit still and watch the ecosystem crumble. The Cardano founder is undoubtedly the most fascinating individual in the crypto community. His work on the Cardano platform has helped many, and his efforts in shedding light to the masses about blockchain, decentralization, and crypto cannot go unnoticed. In the long term, the perceptions of people about Cardano ADA will no longer matter. Why? Cardano would have secured solid evidence of trust for itself, which will reflect in its works, price, and value. Remember, there is always light at the end of the tunnel, and at the end of the day, time will tell. But of course, what are your thoughts on this? Let us have them in the comment section below. We'll see you in the next video, but before then, check out our other videos to find out how Cardano is living up to the dream of being the Ethereum killer. And as always, make sure you click on the subscribe and notification buttons.